And then moving on to the movie we just got out of, How to Train Your Dragon. This was a movie I would say I was cautiously optimistic about, but at the same time, I guess I'm feeling the live action remake fatigue.
Right.
Which, does this movie validate its existence? Does it need to exist? What are they going to do that's new? Blah, blah, blah. We've heard these before. Now, we just got out of the movie. What did we think? I loved it.
I loved it too. It was gorgeous.
I was actually surprised. And here's the ironic thing. Even though we've criticized movies in the past for steering too close to their source material and that they almost do stuff shot for shot, this movie does that too, but there's something different about it this time around.
I would say it's more the heart and soul because
Yeah.
for a lot of people when they hear shot for shot remake, for a lot of people it's being lazy. We've seen that before, and a lot of people who do it are doing it more either to experiment
Yes.
or to save money in the hopes of being a cash grab.
Now with this movie, like you were saying earlier, it has the heart and charm of the original, and it helps that Dean Dubla was the director leading on from the last movie. Not the last movie he directed, but he was one of the directors of the original. And just all around, I mean, man, we could go on and on about what's great. Here's what we can list off. Performances are all great.
Mason Thames as Hiccup is just live action Hiccup.
Yeah, he is live action Hiccup, but he doesn't necessarily have his voice and inflectuations, but that's good because he can make it his own. If we just did not Jason Thames, what was the original actor's name again?
Jay Baruchel.
Jay Baruchel, yeah. So if we just did that with this movie, then that's where I would say, okay, you're not adding anything that different. You're just having someone reenact this. Now, the one part where I give it a pass, however, is with the one, the only, the great Gerard Butler. I mean, when Dean Dubla probably gave him the call saying, hey, I'm making a remake of How to Train Your Dragon. I need you to come back as Stoic. And this is going to be live action. He probably said, say no more. I'm coming. I get to be this character again in live action. Great. I'll even throw in some of my 300 flair just to like add to the drama. It was just all great performances, even from the other folks who they got to play the kids, like Astrid.
Nico Parker as Astrid, phenomenal. Gabriel Howell as Snotlout was amazing.
He looks like the animated guy, actually, funny enough.
Julian Dennison as Fishlegs was amazing.
He was perfect, yeah.
Bronwyn James as Roughnut and Harry Trevaldwin as Toughnut. They both were hilarious.
Yeah, they were hilarious. Everybody does a great job of even acting with some things that aren't there, those being the dragons, which... Okay, let's just get this out of the way. Yes, they look like the dragons from the original. And I have no issue with that because at least the texturing, the effect, and everything about them, it's great. They've got the expressions, especially Toothless, who looks just as amazing as ever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would also like to add Nick Frost as Gobber.
Oh, he was perfect.
Really came into his own. And Craig Ferguson, who I played him in the last film, who did a phenomenal job. Nick Frost does a phenomenal job taking on this role. And I would also add the cinematography by Bill Pope is stunning.
I loved how this movie was also, even though, yes, it is a very effects-heavy movie, and that's okay, as long as the effects look great. But I was also just amazed with just the location shots, like all of like where they filmed in what I'm assuming is Scotland, if I had to be honest. But that when they were shooting on location and all
they were shooting in Ireland.
Ireland, okay. So when they were shooting in Ireland, shooting in all the mountains, the meadows, and all the forest shots, it all looked so gorgeous. I was like, wait, they actually shot on location? They could have just green screened all this, but they didn't. Dubois wanted this movie to look as great as it possibly could be, and I'm so glad he was that passionate because of that.
Mm-hmm. I would say I've seen some reviews and I can see where they're coming from. I'll have to think about it over time. But one of the things that I can see where people are coming from is the relationship between Hiccup and Stoic in this, I think, is a little bit better just because both Mason Thames and Gerard Butler do such a phenomenal job bouncing off one another.
Yeah.
They really feel like a father and son. They really feel like they connect. And none of it ever felt forced from them. You can definitely tell that they were wearing their hearts on their sleeves. They were very emotionally vulnerable.
Yes.
Even when the moments they were trying to not be vulnerable, it felt very honest. And I was very, very impressed. And I also have to give it up especially to John Powell for returning with this score.
I mean,
it's the definition of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, bring back the guy who handled it all from the beginning and you'll be just fine.
It is a gorgeous film. And I would say if you have kids, we had a bunch of little kids in that theater who were so into this
Oh
movie.
yeah, they were very into this, definitely not to the point where they were getting annoying. No, if they're into it, so be it. That's okay.
Right.
Now, I remember once this movie ended, you turned to me and said, Disney, what
What's
is your excuse?
Yep, many people know I'm much less harsher on the live action remakes than most people, but I feel like with this one, and I also want to mention the Disney live action remakes. Quite a few of them have been made with a lot of heart,
Yes.
and if not, sometimes they have almost to a fault too much respect for the original to try and do anything that might be challenging or new.
Either too much respect or too much thought in terms of, oh, how do we modernize this? How do people like can gravitate and relate to it? But this movie just comes out and says, you don't need to modernize anything or do what's being done because of what the internet is saying. You just need to add that charm and heart behind it.
Right, and I think you can definitely feel that throughout what Dean DeBlois is doing. And I would also argue this is maybe we need to really have the original filmmakers, if they're able to, they really need to be involved in the production of a lot of live action remakes.
Yes.
And I really do wonder, because we are fans of the director of the live action remake of Mulan. She is a very good director.
She is a good director, but if you've heard our episode, that was definitely not the strongest of those remakes, and that was just such a shame.
Right, and I wonder, had she sat down with the original filmmakers, would she have not fallen into that trap? Because
Yes.
we even mentioned there were some cool ideas, especially with the new villains they were trying to do,
Yeah.
the things they could explore. I wonder if the original filmmakers had at least just sat and had a meeting.
Yeah.
If they were able to take a look at their current draft of the script and go, here's the pitfalls, here's what we're seeing, and I have a feeling that these could really work. I could say, as Chris Anderson even said, you don't even have to hire us, just wine and dine the original filmmakers. Just go out to dinner and figure it out.
Yeah, it's not so much about getting there okay. It's about having them help you understand what you're doing.
Right. I would say for How to Train Your Dragon, I would say if you're a huge fan of the original, if you liked the original, if you've got kids and you need a movie to go see, this is one to go see in theaters. And I would even argue this might even be IMAX quality.
I would actually agree.
Going to see this in IMAX would be incredible.
I made the mistake of not seeing the original How to Train Your Dragon in theaters, but I'm glad I saw this version because at least the flight sequences were as amazing as they were when I first saw the original.
Right. I think this is worth shelling out the money to this month to see it in IMAX. We did not see it in IMAX, but if I had a choice, if I were offered it, I would definitely try to see this again.
Yes, very much. So our glowing review of How to Train Your Dragon and a live action remake. Wow, what a rarity.